Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I want to wish everybody a very happy Ramadan Mubarak. I hope everyone's fast is going, Alhamdulillah, until now good. Um, so I think we're gonna wait just a couple seconds before we start. If everybody can just kind of let us know how the voice is coming. If you guys can hear us properly, you can see the picture quality properly, would be nice. Okay, perfect. So it's nice and clear today. I'm getting some comments here as well. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start. So today we have two recipes. We have the Hakka noodles and then we have the Shanghai chicken. And so I decided that we should go ahead and do the Hakka noodles first. So I just kind of wanted to go through all the ingredients. And if all of you are cooking with me, then just let me know if you need me to slow down. I'll slow down. Very used to making quick videos, so I kind of move fast. So just kind of tell me to slow down and I will. So what I'm going to go ahead and show you are just a couple noodles, a couple ideas before we start. So in this recipe, I am going to be using these Hakka noodles. Now, these are actually lo mein noodles. If you can find these at your groceries or at the Asian grocery stores, this just makes your life a whole lot easier. This cooks in a minute. So basically you put hot water in it and it's done. So usually I buy a whole bunch and freeze it and take it out whenever I use it. It's just, and I love the texture of it. Let's say you can't find these. That's okay. I also have a couple different ideas for you. And we have different types of noodles here. So you can pick whatever you like. You see that some are pretty fine, some are medium, and then we've got here that are a little bit thicker noodles here. So these need boiling, and so you'll just have to follow the package directions to get this boiled. All right, so now if you are cooking with me and you are using noodles that need boiling, go ahead and start boiling those right now because we're going to need them soon. So just go ahead and boil them, follow your package directions and get them done. All right, you should have the recipe of the Hakka noodles. So, but I will still go through the ingredients and the measurements. So here I have here I have our cooked shredded chicken, and you're gonna need cooked chicken for this, marinated, all done, cooked, ready to go. Okay. We're gonna need 2 tablespoons of oil. We're gonna need, I've got 2 tablespoons of the sambal. Now this is chili garlic sauce. I'm going to take out the container so you can see which one I use. You don't have to use this certain one, but if you, this is something I use in my recipes all the time. There's 2 kinds. There's chili garlic sauce and then there's just garlic sauce. I like using the chili garlic sauce, so this is what I use all the time. And then we're going to be using 2 tablespoons of thick soy sauce. Now, the thick soy sauce here is different than the regular soy sauce. This you see here is very watery. This is very, very thick. When I be adding it, this is what gives, if you go to the restaurant and you see those, the color of the molasses type color, the thick soy sauce gives it that color. So yeah, thick soy sauce is what I'm going to be using in this recipe, as well as the regular soy sauce. So it's going to be 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and 1 to 2 tablespoons of thick soy sauce. We'll see. It all depends on the color. Here I have a chicken bouillon that you can use. If you don't have it, just leave it out. But it's chicken bouillon, it's halal, and it gives it a very, very good flavor. I'm going to dissolve this in about 3 tablespoons of water. All right. Then we're, as far as our veggies here, what I have here is I've got 2 bunches of spring onions. Out of that, we're going to be reserving some of the green part of it just for garnishing. So about 2 tablespoons of that. I have here a bell pepper. Now in the recipe, it says red bell pepper, and we went everywhere to find a bell pepper, and I couldn't find it. So we're going to go with the orange one today. And this, you can you don't have to put the whole thing in there. Just, you can do as much as you like, because now you see the difference between the 2 bell peppers here. So it's just up to you. We're also going to be doing a green bell pepper. We're going to be doing 1.5 cups or 1.5 cups of slivered or matchstick carrots. Now, if you can find matchstick carrots at your grocery store, that would be great. If you can't, you can just slice them as thinly as you can. I don't recommend shredding it in this recipe just because it becomes very soft. So, and then I have white cabbage here, and this is completely optional. So what I will do is I'm going to be adding just a cup of the shredded cabbage in there. So it really depends how much cabbage you want in there. And then I have my noodles that we're going to soak right now and get that ready. So now we can actually start preparing everything. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and soak my noodles so that we can get those going. Can I get the kettle? So I'm just going to put it in the bowl here. And if you are cooking with me and your noodles are still boiling, that's fine. Take your time because we still have to cut the vegetables, okay? So now I'm just going to add enough hot water in there just to cover the noodles. And then I'm going to take some of my water in here and put it into the bouillon so that starts melting. And just 2 to 3 tablespoons should be great. Right, so that's melting there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cover this up. We're going to move this off to the side. All right, so now let's go ahead and cut up our vegetables. So how's everybody doing? Does anybody need me to slow down? So I'm just going to chop the ends off. And we're going to go ahead and just cut them, slice them just round, just like that. And try and get them a little bit thin. I don't know about you, but my kids don't like pieces of onions coming in their mouth. So I try and cut it as thin as I can. So how many people are actually cooking with me? You want to give me a thumbs up so I know? Give me the iPad, I can't really see. So the question, Sumaya, can you ask the question so everybody knows?
I couldn't find the Hakka noodles, so I just boiled regular spaghetti. Is it okay?
It is completely fine, but just a heads up, there is going to be a little difference in texture. So like if you were, if you go to the Chinese restaurant, then you know that those noodles are noodles and not like pasta noodles. But you are completely fine with using that today. So out of that, I'm going to take a little bit just for our garnish. Okay. And I'm gonna just throw everything on this plate here. Next, we're gonna do is we're going to we're just going to slice this bell pepper up. Okay, just like that, see? So you would cut it lengthwise once, and then we're just gonna cut just like that. And I did cut my vegetables ahead of time just because if you're cooking with me, then I'm sure you will have to cut your vegetables as well. So that we'll do it together. Now my bell pepper was quite big, so I think I'm gonna do is just leave the other one off. This was a pretty big because we're still doing a green bell pepper in here. So I'm gonna move this to the side. And we have another question.
In the UK, someone's going to be breaking their fast in 20 minutes, and they already cooked, but we'll try the recipe another day.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, if you make it, I would love for you to hashtag it Raihana's Cuisine so I can see your creation. All right, so now we're just going to do the how's everybody doing? Yes, Smile.
We have a question. What are we cooking?
So today I'm making Hakka Noodles, and it has shredded chicken in there.
And a couple more questions.
Yes.
We have, can you substitute with frozen colored pepper stir fry instead of fresh bell pepper?
You can, but the texture of the dish is going to change completely. When you have a type of Chinese dish or a type of a stir-fry dish, you want to have that crunch. When you use frozen vegetables, what happens is they kind of get limp and they're not very, very soft. The other thing is also when we cook we will be cooking our stir-frying our vegetables, you know, you don't want any water content in there, so you want it to be dry, and it is just, otherwise it's just, I highly recommend not to use frozen, but given the time that we're in right now, if that's all you have, go for it.
And what type of chicken is being used?
So I'm going to show you here that I have pre-boiled my chicken. It's just got ginger, garlic, salt, lemon, pepper, and that's it. And yep, that's it. And sometimes I add a little bit of sambal or chili garlic sauce in there. So, and I can see bits of it. So I think I added it in there because I did this yesterday.
And many people are saying that they're good, and alhamdulillah, doing well.
And can everybody hear Sumaya's questions when she asks the questions? The cabbage you want to try and get as fine as you can. So For this recipe, I am just going to be adding it in the dish. If you've seen my video or if you've seen the recipe, I've got some that I add afterwards on top and mix it. But for today, I am just going to, if you guys want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and, because we're not eating it right away, they're going to get soft anyways. So that's why I am leaving that part of the step out. Okay, so you can see here that all our veggies are good to go. Yes, we have another question.
Do you use boneless chicken?
I do use boneless chicken. In fact, that's more. We eat more boneless chicken than anything. So I use the tenderloin or the breast, that's I use that all the time. And the trick to using that, I know a lot of people think that, it becomes very dry and tough. Well, the trick to that is just not cooking it too much. When you cook it, overcook it, yeah, you're gonna get tough, dry chicken. So, all right. So all our veggies are ready. We can now start assembling the dish. Okay. Yes.
What brand do you use for your sweet chili sauce?
Oh, great question. Hassan, can you pass me the sauce?
And do you have a written recipe?
I do have a written, no, not that one, the chili garlic sauce, the sweet chili sauce, yeah. I do have a written recipe. It's on my YouTube channel. I have a video of it. Maybe we can tag the video or put the link in the description box below so you guys can, it takes you straight to there. You can also check out the recipe on www.raihanasrecipes.com. But all my videos on YouTube have the recipe and the description in the description box below. This is what I use. I know when I had my hubby go to the Asian store, there were a couple more varieties, but he picked up this one, and which is completely okay, which is completely fine. So any type of sweet chili sauce is perfectly fine. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get my stove ready here. Put this one back. So we're gonna get stove on. I have the stove on to medium high. Does anybody need me to slow down, or are we doing okay? So in the wok goes about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm missing my ginger garlic. Okay. I like adding my ginger garlic in here just because it gives it a really, really nice taste. Okay. So in goes the ginger garlic. Then we're going to add, the taste of these noodles are going to be defined by you actually frying that ginger and garlic in that little bit of oil that we have here. It just gives it an amazing taste. Next we add the chili garlic sauce in there. I'm going to let this cook just for a little bit until the raw taste of it goes away. All right, next we're gonna do is start putting our veggies in here. Spring onions, bell peppers, and I'm going to increase my heat to the highest. At this point now, what we want to do is just stir fry these vegetables on very, very high. I had some thick pieces in there that I didn't see, so I'm just going to throw that out. Excuse me. And when I'm cooking at home, I usually always wish that I would have a stove that would even be higher in flame, because Chinese cooking, you really want the flame so high. This is the highest we have here, which now this step here is going to be depending on how you like your veggies. If your family likes having crunchy vegetables, then you would start adding the sauces in there right now. But let's say if your family wants a little bit more on the softer side, then don't then cook the vegetables more. I think I got that right. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, because we are doing iftar and that this dish is going to need reheating, I don't want to cook this too much because we're going to be reheating this and our vegetables are still going to get cooked even more. So this is it. This is all I'm going to cook. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to add my bullion in here, which is the chicken bullion. And I actually added hot water in this and it hasn't melted, so I'm just going to use my fingers to crush it. Okay, so in goes our bullion. Next, we are going to go ahead and add my chicken in here. Now, I just did not measure all the chicken out. So I made a little bit more, so I'm just going to throw in. Now I'm going to eyeball it. Yes.
We have a comment that your mango Shanghai
Shanghai, yes.
yeah, is very popular and is
Oh,
being used.
thank you so much. Okay, so now what we did is we added that. Now let's go ahead and add our, now look at the thick soy sauce when it goes in. See how thick that is? Okay, so we're gonna add that 1 tablespoon first. After we put our noodles in, I'm going to check the color. Now I know that everyone is fasting, but you know we're allowed to give it a taste test and wash or gargle our mouth. I highly recommend you do that because the taste, you just have to get the right taste of this. So this is good. Now let's go ahead and add our noodles in here. Grab my noodles. Yes.
We have a question.
Yep.
Is it okay to skip the bullion?
Yes, definitely okay. That's just the taste. If you don't want to have, if you don't have it, you don't want to put it, completely okay to leave it out.
We have another question.
Yes.
Is there any salt or pepper in this recipe?
There is no salt in this recipe because when I cooked the chicken, I added my salt and pepper in there. We also have thick soy sauce and we have regular soy sauce in here. So if the dish gets pretty salty if you're going to add the extra salt on there. So I usually don't add salt on top of that. All right, now see our noodles here. That's our noodles. And if I try and mix it, it's not going to mix very well. So at this time, what I usually do is I take my kitchen shears and I just snip it just a little bit, just so that it helps me with the mixing. I mean, if I had a bigger wok, this would be very, very easy to do, but okay. This is the best way to mix everything together. Now, while I'm mixing it, I still feel that I kind of want to add a little bit more of the thick soy sauce. So do you see how you have to just change it up? Put whatever you like in there. If you like the color, that's fine. Don't go ahead and add anything in there.
You have a question?
Yes.
Which noodles did you use? I came halfway. Sorry if you have to repeat. Thank you.
That's okay. Let me finish this and then I will show you the noodles. And I'll show you just before we get to the second recipe, okay? This is much easier to do on the stovetop, but just because we're doing this live show, I have to use my countertop here. So you guys just have to bear with me here. I'm going to turn this off because our noodles are done. When you see that the noodles are done like this, you just make sure and cover it so they become a little bit soft. I'm going to move this out of the way and so that I can mix it properly. Yes.
Where is the soy sauce that was used?
I will show it to you right after I finish this dish, and then I will, before we go to the second dish, I'll show the noodles and the soy sauce. So I'm just going to show you here that, do you see the color? To me, I feel like I really need more color in there. So what I'm going to do is add just a little bit more of my thick soy sauce. This soy sauce is a game changer, but this soy sauce, please be careful you don't add too much in there. You want to do your taste test because too much in there, it's just going to be very, very strong in flavor. But now look at the color. So do you see what I'm trying to say as far as just adding the color? Now, everyone has their own style of cooking. Everybody wants either less chicken in there, more chicken in there. That all depends on you. If you feel that there's not enough chicken in there, go ahead and add more chicken in there. But we are basically ready with this dish. What I am going to do is I am going to cover this up. By covering it up, these noodles, these certain noodles that I'm using, they are a little bit, how do I say, a little bit al dente. So by covering them up, they'll get really nice and soft. Then what I'll do is when we finish the second recipe, we will come back. I will show you how I am going to be serving this dish. So let me cover this up, then I'll answer all the questions. Okay, so this gets covered up, gets moved away, and then we'll come back to this recipe right after we're done with our second recipe. Now, going back to the soy sauce and the noodles. I'll get to that in just a second. Okay. All right. So the soy sauce that I use is this one. I have actually stopped using all soy sauces because I love this product. I'm not promoting this product, but just I love the taste of it, and it's gluten-free, and for me that's really important. So this is what I use, and this it's only available at Asian stores. So you'll have to go to like a Chinese store to get it. Okay, so that's that. And if you look at my pantry, I probably have like 4 or 5 bottles of this in there because, I go through as much because of all the Chinese cooking. As far as the noodles are concerned, let me show you the ones that we used and also ones that you can use. Hassan, you want to grab me those dry ones? So this here, yeah, I just grabbed all of them. I'll just show them one more time. So this here is what I used. So it's the main pan fried noodles. These are already cooked. So these are usually in the refrigerator section. They're good for a week in the refrigerator. But what I do is I just buy a whole bunch, like 6, 7 packets, and I stick them in the freezer. When I need it, I take it out the night before. I just love these noodles. These takes 60 seconds to soak, and they're ready to go. All right. The other thing is that if you don't find these are my other favorite ones that you can get. These are the dry ones. And they have all different sizes. You can decide which one you like to use. So
we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So one of them is, when do you use the soy sauce?
The soy sauce you want to use after we put the vegetables in. After we added the vegetables, we added the chicken. Then you want to go ahead and add your soy sauce, the light one and the dark soy sauce. So now let's get to the second recipe real quick. Okay, so let's go over to the second recipe right now. Just need to take some stuff over there. And so we are done with our Hakka Noodles recipe, okay? So that's done. All right, so now this recipe, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using the, we're making Shanghai chicken, okay? So if you get a chance, can you just clear that up for me? So that I can get my presentation going over there as far as the food. All right, so for this recipe, let's go ahead and discuss all the ingredients. Hasa, can you get my iPad over here? So for this one here, I have 3 pounds of chicken, which is not cooked. It's in cubes, about 1-inch cubes. And this is what it looks like. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, so about 1-inch cubes. It's not marinated. It doesn't have anything in there. It's just gachu chicken, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook this chicken first. We're gonna marinate that with, let's go ahead and do that first. Let's just, because if you are making it with me today, obviously you're not gonna be marinating this. But let's say if you're gonna make this when you're not cooking with me, you want to just marinate this chicken for about 20-25 minutes so it gets really nice. The flavors are nice in there. I'm going to add black pepper and ginger and garlic, and this is my base for anything and everything that I boil. You could add some the chili garlic sambal in here. It's completely okay. And I usually do, but looks like this one I have not done it, so we're gonna leave it out because I want to follow the recipe. All right, so this is it. What we'll do is I'm just going to let that sit for a couple minutes while we go ahead and chop up our vegetables. The vegetables are not gonna take very long to chop up. We have here, we're gonna be using, Hasa, can you get this part now? So here I have 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 cup of our sweet chili sauce. We have, we're going to be using 4 tablespoons of spring onions chopped, which are only for garnish. I forgot, I don't know why that's in there, but that's for our later on. I have 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of pepper flakes. The recipe calls for 2. If you like it spicy, add 2. We don't eat very spicy, so I'm going to do 1. I have 1 tablespoon of cumin. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. We're going to do a little bit of salt to taste. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of ginger and garlic. I have a tablespoon of green chutney. And then here I have 1 bell pepper. We're going to cut in squares or cubed. I have 1 onion. Now my onion is ginormous, so we're only going to use maybe half of this because it's too big. We're going to do, now if you had red bell pepper, this would work really well, but I don't have red pepper, so you're going to do 1 or half of the orange, half of the yellow, and half of the green. We'll see how everything looks. We're also going to be needing 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then we're going to need some lime just to sprinkle on top. The other thing I wanted to mention is this is Shanghai chicken. I also have a video of Shanghai cassava or Shanghai mogo, and I'm telling you that dish turns out amazing as well. The only reason why I'm showing you this is because when you do ever boil your muhogo, you just want to. Okay, so you just want to cut them in cubes. The recipe for the cassava, you want to deep fry the cassava and then you make your sauce and you mix it in. Now the chicken can be done the same way. You can deep fry it. I just chose not to deep fry this recipe. Okay, so if you were, I would put this in the freezer, and then this would be one of your dishes, because then you just get your sauce and you mix everything in together. All right. The recipe is already in the description box below. So if you want to look at it, go ahead and look in the description box below. You will find the full recipe for both the dishes, for the Hakka noodles and the Shanghai chicken. All right. So now I think let's go ahead and just cut up our vegetable first so I can get that out of the way. Then we'll start the cooking process. The chicken should not take very long to cook. Okay. So let me get my knife. Okay. So, and I didn't cut up again my vegetables was because I have a lot of people that are cooking with me. And if I had everything ready, then it just wouldn't be fair. So. And the other thing also is when I use onions, I honestly use sweet Vidalia onions for everything. I actually love the taste of those. They don't have a very pungent taste to it. So, all right, so we're just gonna cut this in half. Now you just want to make cubes. This is a very big onion. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit more. Okay, this goes back in here. So I would love to know if you can comment and let me know where you all are watching from. It would be so great to hear that. So depending on the size of the bell pepper, just eyeball how much you want in there. Also, the way I'm cutting it, I don't know if you can see, this is the best way of cutting it so you don't have any waste. And we have
whole cumin or
we're going to be using whole cumin for this recipe.
we have someone from Texas.
Okay, so we've got Texas. This one also, you just want it cubed around the same size as the onion. So we've got somebody from Toronto as well. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. And I honestly would love to hear how some comments on how you like the show.
Dar es Salaam.
Dar es Salaam, mashallah.
Allentown.
Allentown.
Orlando.
Orlando, wow. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the whole bell pepper. We'll see if we need all of it, we'll use all of it. If we feel like it's more, we'll take some out. But just right now, let's just chop it up.
We have a lot of people from Toronto.
Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
India.
Wow. Okay, so you see that? You just pop that out. Let me use that. Am I going, for people that are cooking with me, am I going too fast? Are you all doing okay?
Many people love your recipes, and we have a comment saying that you have a whole team behind you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, the other thing I really wanted to mention is, please, if you guys are making this or you're gonna make it later on, please always hashtag. Please always hashtag Raihana's Cuisines, and share your pictures. It just makes me so happy and makes me feel like I'm doing something to give back to the community by um, cooking and you all cooking the dishes. So it just makes me feel so good to see those pictures. So hashtag Raihana's Cuisines. I also have a page. Inshallah, we also have a menu out for the whole month of Ramadan that you can refer to. I just uploaded a dessert menu as well with all the links included in there for the whole 30 days. So, all right. So we've got all our bell peppers done. We've got our onions done. Now, it's not going to take very long. Now we just need to mix everything together. Recipe that's soaked. All right. Get this out of the way. Oh, I did forget to the spring onions for the garnish. What I am going to do is I will do that a little bit later, or I'll use the one that we did for the other recipe, okay? Because we are on a time crunch right now. So, all right. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab my stove. For this recipe here, I have a bigger frying pan here, so it's easy for us to cook, heat it evenly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a tablespoon to 2 of olive oil. Now, like I said, you are welcome to deep fry this chicken. Obviously, it's going to taste a whole lot better, the dish, because it's going to be very crispy. But it's up to you. Just going to wait for it to just heat up just a little bit. And the reason for that is we want to stir fry our chicken. We don't want to boil it. Or a pan, and when the fry pan is, or the pan is not hot, it's cold oil, and you put it in, you're not stir frying it. You're just kind of boiling it, and there will be a difference in the texture and the crispiness of the chicken. So the ideal is not this, because right now when I put it in, it's still very, very cold. You want to make sure that it's really nice and super hot. When you put it in, it's going to get a sear on the bottom. We're going to turn it. It's going to seal all the juices inside. So when you eat it, it's going to have your juicy chicken, because this is breast. It's just how we cook the breast. So always put the first one in just to see. Oh, Amina, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. So do you see how now we're getting to that temperature? We're already getting the chicken white on the bottom. Now I'll just go ahead and add a couple pieces just like this. You can see that I'm not taking the whole bowl and emptying it in here. Again, that also makes a difference in the way that the chicken is going to get cooked. You don't want to overcrowd your pan as well. This is why I have a very big pan, because we are on a time crunch. But Hassan, if you can zoom in, is there a way you can zoom in? Okay. Do you see that the bottom of this chicken has already started getting white? You see that? That means that our chicken on the bottom is already cooked. We just need to get the middle and the top part cooked. So we're gonna leave this until you see all of them have that white on the bottom. Then we're gonna go ahead and turn it. Okay. This here. And when you put your whole bowl of chicken, if you do put your whole bowl of chicken in a pan, it's gonna bring down the temperature of the oil. And so again, like I said, you wanted to put the chicken in a hot pan. It's gonna not it's gonna get cold, and the way that the chicken is gonna get cooked is not gonna be the right way.
We have a couple questions. Can I use clarified butter, ghee, instead of olive oil?
You definitely can. You are going to have a little bit of a taste in there, but ghee is super, super healthy, and definitely you can go ahead and use ghee if you like.
And were there any marinations that was used in the chicken?
Not in this chicken. This chicken, what we did, we did put the ginger, garlic, salt, and pepper, and we let it sit just until we cut up our veggies. So prior my prep work, no, there was no marination in the chicken. And but I would highly recommend that you marinate it for at least 25 minutes or longer, because it's just gonna make your dish even more chicken even more tasty. So if you look at it, you can see now. You see how we're getting that white everywhere. You can see that it's just you can see the pieces over here are getting more white. So I'm going to rotate my pan so we can just have the other side also cooked up. Right now, if I'm going to turn it, do you see that? Do you see the brown marks on the chicken? This is what I'm looking for. If you're not going to deep fry it, then at least do it this way, because this is going to give it a little bit of crispiness to the chicken, and it's going to feel like it's really nicely stir fried. Also, don't overcook your chicken. As soon as we put cut it in half, and we see that it's white inside, we're gonna get it off the stove. Yes.
Um, Mine is still not brown, so how do you?
Okay, so if yours is not brown, what I would do is increase your heat a little bit, and I'm gonna slow down. So just because I feel like we were on a time crunch, but now I'm gonna slow down because you're cooking with me. Turn up your heat as high as it goes, and get that brown searing. Once it's brown on both sides, and if it's still not cooked, we can turn it into a little bit lower and we can cover it, and that will help completely cook through the chicken will completely cook through. Yes,
Is the chicken on high flame?
it is. It's on the highest as this stove goes. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I wish I had a stove that had even more high flame, because you want that high flame. But we have to work with what we got. So this is what I have, and so yeah, it's on the highest as it will go. Now, if I were to do this on my stove top, the temperature would go a little bit more higher. But because we're doing a live video and we need to get everything on the counter with the equipment, I did it on the stove top. Yes,
I think
on the tabletop. I apologize.
so. One person put a lot, might have put a lot more oil, and it's not dry like yours.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead and just try and see if you can take a spoon and grab some oil and just take it out and put it on the side, because you can reuse that oil. So don't throw that oil away. But just take some out. Not a big deal at all. Now, what I will do is, from just looking at it, I feel like I can break into one and see. So with whatever you're using, you just want to break into it. And this one just is got a little bit more, just a little bit more to go. I would say about a minute or so. And you want to do this on the thickest part of the chicken. So if that's cooked, then you know the other chicken is all cooked. Once our chicken is cooked, it's about probably 3 or 4 minutes to get everything else done. Because what we're going to do is we're also going to be stir frying the vegetables for a little bit. Okay. So while this is happening, I'm quickly going to go ahead and grab a plate that I can put this chicken in. So if you're cooking with me, grab something, a bowl, a plate, because we're gonna be stir frying the vegetables in the same pan. But we need to empty it first when the chicken is done. So I'm gonna go grab that. Now, chicken usually has a lot of water content in there. So if you look at this part here, you can see here that there's a lot of broth there that has come out. That's okay. Cook on high flame. That broth in there is liquid gold. That's the flavor that's gonna flavor our chicken. And so don't just make sure that the broth dries with the chicken. So that's the other thing that's gonna give this a really nice taste. Now, if you wanted to not use salt in marinating this, you could use soy sauce. Um, I just have never done it with soy sauce. I like using the salt in here, but that's just another suggestion. If you ever wanted to, you could. Yes.
What can I serve the chicken with? Rice?
Okay,
or
so
salad?
this chicken, this Shanghai chicken, on my video, I have served it with noodles, and that's the Oriental noodles that we cooked up today. But because I already did the Hakka noodles and we're having iftar and we're going to be using that, I wanted something else. So what I did for my family and when I serve this is I actually have made sticky rice that I'm going to be serving it with. So basically, you could do sticky rice, you could do noodles, you could do salad, you could do quinoa. So it's really, really up to you how. But this would be great even for people who are gluten free. So you can have it with rice, so they can actually have it. So and it tastes really, really good either way, whatever you use. But I already had one noodle dish, so I decided to leave the noodles out for this dish. And I just really want to take the time, and I know that we're going over a little bit. Please forgive me for that. There's some things I can't rush, and I really, really feel like it's so important to show you how this chicken is going to look when it's ready. Right now, it's still got a little bit of water in it, and so we're going to break into one, and I want to show you that. I'm going to grab a clear spoon. You see here that we have a chicken that is completely white inside, and it broke with not much of anything. I just put my fork in and it broke. So that's where our chicken is all cooked through. Now I am just going to get it where I just want it to dry up a little bit so that we can get those really delicious sauces to the broth to stick on there. Yes, ma'am.
Can you have with jeera rice?
Jeera rice? Yes, you definitely can. Because it's got jiru in here, I think it would taste wonderful. I've never tried it, but yeah, you can definitely. I think it would taste amazing. I would definitely have it. Yes.
And we have a comment on how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay, alhamdulillah. Sorry, I get so busy with the cooking and focusing that I sometimes forget to smile, and so I apologize for that. But alhamdulillah, I'm doing really, really well. I hope all of you are doing well as well.
You're also making many people hungry because they're fasting. So they're looking.
So that means that if I'm making you all hungry, then you have to. You just have to, when you have iftar today, to remember myself and my family in your duas. All right. Now I'm just gonna, because we're on a time crunch, I am going to go ahead and just take this out and just put it on a different plate.
Is it a spicy dish?
No, it's not. It's actually a sweet and spicy dish. So again, you can change the spice level. So the pepper flakes that we're going to add in here is what's going to give it the spice. So if you don't want it very spicy, then don't add too much, or you can leave it out. And if you really eat a lot of spice, then I would say add a lot of the peppers in there.
I think many people are interested in the mogo you mentioned.
Sure. We will try and see if we can get the Shanghai Mogo link posted in the description box below as well. Okay. I'm just waiting for the pan to just heat up a little bit. All right. Now let's go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil. Okay. We're going to add our ginger and garlic in here. Again, the frying of the ginger and garlic is what's going to give it a really good taste. So in goes the ginger and garlic. I'm also going to go ahead and add my green chutney in here. Now in my recipe, I have added Tabasco sauce because I didn't have green chutney at the time. Now I had green chutney, but I didn't have Tabasco sauce. So you see, you can actually change it up. I'm gonna heat that up just a little bit. I am also going to go ahead and add my cumin in here because I really want that cumin to cook up a little bit and release all that nice oils that are in there to flavor the dish. I'm adding my pepper flakes in here. Okay, next we're gonna go ahead and add our ketchup. And I should have added my veggies in here, but that's okay. We're just gonna mix this. Go ahead and add our onions. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add all the peppers in there. It should be okay.
We have a question.
Yes.
Did you use cumin powder or whole?
I used whole cumin for this recipe. Okay, we're gonna mix this. You just wanna stir fry this until the veggies get just a little soft and the onions get a little translucent.
Is another question? Is the cumin roasted?
For this recipe, no, it is not roasted. The other thing also is if you ever want, you can double, triple, and quadruple the sauce recipe. Like you can get the sauce, make it separately. Just make the sauce ingredients, and then you can leave it in your refrigerator, and you can use it, 2-3 days down the road or the week after. I've done that a couple of times, and it has really helped. So the dishes, if you have your cassava in the freezer or your mogo in the freezer, or if you have your chicken, cooked chicken in the freezer, then this dish doesn't take very long to put together. The sauce is also ready. Also, you can always adjust if you feel like you want more sauce in there. Go ahead and then add a little bit of the chili, the sweet chili sauce, and a little bit of the soy sauce to get the sauce, to get whatever desired sauce consistency you like. So some people like this dish dry, some people like it wet, because it depends on what you're gonna eat it with. Is everybody doing okay?
We actually have a fan from Russia.
You have a fan from Russia? Wow. And I really want to take the time to apologize that we've gone a little over, but we did have two recipes that needed some stir frying and some cooking, so accept my apologies, please.
Is your flame off or on?
No, it's on high, but because it's tabletop, it just takes a while for it to cook. Again, you are going to be reheating this, so just if you don't want it too crispy, that's fine. It's going to soften up more when you reheat it again. Well, thank you, Mas Mabay, for watching. Really appreciate it. All right. So at this point now, what I'm going to do is, you can see here that the onion. So yes.
My onions are getting soft, so should I turn it off?
Go ahead and add your chicken in there. Let's do it together. Let's go ahead and add our chicken in there. We don't want it to get very soft because we are going to be reheating this dish again. Also, lower your heat because we don't want it to get too hot. Okay, in goes our chicken. In goes our sweet chili sauce. And then also going to add soy sauce in here. And this is why it's really important to do that taste test. And I know it's Mahi Ramadan, but we all do it, right? We all taste a little bit and wash up after. So it's important. So now we're just going to, again, my stove is on high, but for people who are cooking with me and their onions are getting soft, go ahead and put it on medium low. And we're just going to mix this really well. I honestly think that there's enough sauce for what I am going to be serving it with, which is going to be the sticky rice. So now you can imagine if I would have had the red bell peppers, this dish would have just like kind of jumped out at you. So this is why the original recipe calls for the red bell pepper in here.
I also think many people were not hungry until you popped up.
I'm so sorry for that. But that's but again, like I said, now when you guys eat, you have to remember my family and myself in your prayers. Okay, so this is ready. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how I'm going to be serving this real quick. Get stuff out of the way here. Just in the corner is fine. Okay, I'm just gonna get this off. Okay. Because we're doing a live show, I can't cut, clean up, and so I apologize for all that. So let's move over to this side here.
We have a question.
Yes, yes. While I'm doing that, I can answer the question.
Is there anything you could use instead of sweet chili sauce, like honey with hot sauce, maybe?
Yes, definitely. You can. You can even buy sugar-free ketchup and then add honey in there. And I think it would taste perfectly fine. You would just, then have to just make sure that the taste is right when you start, when you taste it. So then you will just adjust the amount of salt. Because see, ketchup and everything has so much salt in there. So you'll just have to adjust it. So as far as serving this dish, I have my sticky rice here. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to add the stir fry on the side just like that. And the serving is all how you want to do it. This is just something that I just wanted to give you an idea. But believe me or not, I love serving it like this at home.
Can we add mushrooms?
You definitely can. Okay, so see, we have this here. Now you just want to take some spring onions, and we're just going to throw some spring onions on here.
Can we use chili garlic sauce instead of the sweet chili sauce?
No, because this dish requires a little bit or a lot of sweetness. That's why there's the sweet sauce in there, and then there's also the ketchup in there. So you're not going to get the sweet taste from it. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of sesame seeds. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to show you how just by adding a couple things as garnish, you can just spice up the dish and how beautiful it would look. See that? So we've got this dish ready to go. I'll put that over here. Next, what we're going to do is let's go ahead and serve up our chow mein or Hakka noodles. These are going to be super simple way to serve it. Nothing fancy here. So I just wanted to let you all know that we have over 200 viewers right now. And I want to thank HIC and I want to thank all of the viewers over here. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to HIC channel by clicking on the subscribe link. Also, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time HIC posts a new video. And on the right hand side of the screen, you will see the subscribe button.
Can we use spaghetti instead of noodles?
You can, definitely. But obviously, the texture is going to be a little bit different just because they're made differently. But yeah, you can. You definitely can. And honestly, I have used spaghetti, and I've used the wheat spaghetti, and I've actually fooled my family into not knowing that it's actually wheat spaghetti because they're a little bit dark, and it's got a little bit more of a bite to it than the normal spaghetti. Okay, so this is going to be very, very simple. I'm not going to do anything fancy with this one. Now, the other thing also I wanted to point out, if you all love sesame oil, you guys can add sesame oil on top of this too. I'm not too fond of sesame oil. I think it's too strong for me. But if I when I do use it, I use it very sparingly. But that would for sure give it a really authentic Hakka noodle taste. Okay, so we got that ready. Now what we're gonna do is you can decide to take some spring onions.
We have a question.
Yes.
Can you use noodle water in it if it's too dry?
Noodle water at what stage? I won't add the noodle water after everything is cooked. I would I would add more a little bit of ketchup or a little bit of the sauces if you can to keep
When it's cooking.
when it's cooking you feel like it's dry, then I would just add a little bit of water. I would not use the pasta. If you add the pasta water, what's going to happen is the it's going to stick together by the time you eat it, because the starch that's going to come out from the starch that's going to come out of the pasta, it's going to stick together once it cools down. So I wouldn't do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my lime juice and I'm just going to sprinkle that a little bit on top. And this gives it a really nice, fresh flavor. Also, before you put it on the table, before iftar, you can also go ahead and sprinkle a little bit more of the lime juice on it. And you can use lemon as well, whatever you like. I just find it gives it a little bit of a really nice taste. So these are both our dishes today. So we have made the Hakka noodles and we have done Shanghai chicken. I'm not going to do a taste test, but you guys can let me know how it turned out. Make sure if you're making this with me, if you're making this with me today, go ahead and take a snap a pic and upload it. Tag it Raihana's Cuisines. I'd love to see it.
We have a couple questions.
Okay.
Where do you buy the sweet chili sauce from?
The sweet chili sauce, I always find it at the Asian store. I honestly have not seen it at like a regular Cup Foods or any other store. I've seen some at Target actually. And I think I have one in the fridge. I just want to show you guys that one. It's available at Walmart. And this is my favorite chili sauce, sweet chili sauce. Everybody loves it. My son devours it and dips everything in there. So this is a really good one. This is available at Walmart, right, Hassan? Did you get this from Target or Walmart? Walmart, right? Or the next time you went, it was Target, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's available at Walmart. They were out of it, but Target did have it. So if they have it, get that. I just find it is, because I use a lot of it, I buy the big bottle from the Asian or Chinese store.
We have one last question.
Yes.
For the thick soya sauce,
Yes.
if you don't have it, can we omit that?
Yes, you can omit it. That is basically just to add the color and the caramelization to the noodles. But if you are cooking a lot with Chinese food or Asian food, if you see it, grab it, because it's a really nice product to work with. So you don't have to add so much soy sauce in there to get that color. So again, please accept my apologies for going over. I think we're over 15 minutes. I tried my best to gauge this, that we would finish it by 3. So again, I really apologize, and I'm sorry for that. But I honestly hope that everybody had a really good time in the kitchen with me today, and that next Saturday we'll be here, same place, same time. We'll be cooking up something different. We'll keep that a surprise. Watch out for the HIC emails and information that's going to go out. So you'll have to wait till Wednesday to find out what we're going to be cooking next Saturday. So if you guys have any, if you want to any suggestions of what we should do, you can put it in the section below. We'll see if that works out. Because of the time, we have some stuff we can't do in that 1 hour. So with that, I am going to ask your permission for leave. Inshallah, please remember me in your prayers, and please don't forget to snap those pics and upload them. I would love to see them. So Ramadan Mubarak to each and every one of you. Inshallah, I'll see you here next Saturday. So next Saturday, oh my God, I'll see you here next Saturday, same place, same time. That is.